Why Dunkirk? Why, of all the battles and events during World War II, why did you pick Dunkirk?
Well, I mean, like most British people, I grew up with the story of Dunkirk. It's something we're told about when we're very young in a relatively simple, almost mythical way. And then over time, I think I cemented my interest in it very much by making the crossing on a friend's small boat. Emma and I made the crossing to Dunkirk, and the channel was very rough. It was a very, very difficult crossing. It took about 19 hours. And the thing that I really came away with is how difficult that was without people dropping bombs on us. We weren't heading into a war zone. So my admiration and respect for the people who took part in the real evacuation in 1940 was greatly enhanced. And I think that was probably where the first seed of the idea of making a film about it came from. Because as a storyteller, you're looking for gaps in the cultural record. You're looking for stories that should have been told in modern cinema and haven't been for whatever reason. And Dunkirk was one of those. It's a great opportunity for a filmmaker.
Where are we going? Dunkirk. I'm not going back. There's no hiding from this sun.
We have the action on the beach, we have action in the air, we have action on water. Was that always a conscious decision to say, okay, I'm going to tell 3 different stories in this one?
Well, I think it came about as a result of wanting to tell the story subjectively. So what I really wanted to do was put the audience there on the beach. And then you realize that if you want to stick with subjective human scale storytelling, you're going to need other points of view, other characters that you can follow. And in that way, build up a picture of the events without ever losing that human scale perspective. So without ever cutting to generals in rooms, pushing things around on maps or what have you.
He's coming back round. He's coming back round!
What I was mostly fascinated with was the way you used sound and music together with all the action. Like my whole body was shaking in the cinema. So how did you work together with Hans Zimmer to create this sound?
What we wanted to do was make a film that was primarily visual. That is to say, things not told so much through dialogue as through pictures and the fusion with the music and the sound effects. And so very early on with Hans, I sent him a recording I'd made of a watch I have and a particular ticking, an insistent rhythm. And we started to build the sound effects and the music according to a particular rhythm and achieve a fusion of that and picture that hopefully keeps the audience in a very suspenseful state and really tries to keep the momentum of the film going.
You can practically see it from here.
What?
Home.
Why do you think they had this strong spirit to go over there?
Well, I think probably, you know, for both the Germans and the English, the First World War was so powerful, so close, and had been so terrible. So many young men had perished and come back wounded or shell-shocked, and so I think probably there was a general spirit that we had to help each other and look after each other. I think the English too, we've so often been the imperialist oppressor of other people in India or Africa. If we find any situation where we're the underdogs, where we're the victims, we like to imagine ourselves in that position.
There are 400,000 men on this beach.
What I loved about this movie that there's no one hero. They are all like equals in this. So how was it for you guys on set? Did you have any idea like where you would put yourself in?
No, I think that was very much the spirit of Dunkirk anyway, and I think that was the thing that came across in the film, in the way Chris did use such an ensemble cast and the way it did follow so many plots and they all intertwine, is that it's much more a story of people as a whole than it is about individuals. I mean, the individual stories within it are amazing, but it's more about the coming together of people. So I think he tried his hardest to show that whilst still kind of focusing on the intimacy and the personal way that he likes to make films.
We have a job to do.
If we go there, we'll die.
And when you're working with a guy like Christopher Nolan, who has almost no CGI, who has all these practical stuff, how does it overwhelm you at times?
I felt like you were going to say, how does it work? Because it's like when you watch that film, that is kind of one of the things, even having been involved with the film, like watching it, you just kind of go, how does he do that?
Yeah.
He just builds these huge worlds. It's like really as simple as that. It's insane. I don't even know of a director who does it the same as he does. He really constructs these worlds around you, which is such a thing to behold, I think, when you come on set, and such an amazing thing for an actor.
I mean, what we've seen is what you see on the screen. Like those explosions and those Spitfires come towards you, and you know all the fire on the water, and that was all real. I mean, we were seeing all of that. Like.
You can really see that time and dedication he's put in. You can see it on set because everything works and runs so smoothly. It's brilliant.
We shall go on to the end. We shall never surrender.
And we're sitting right in front of one of these.
I can see you eyeing her up.
Me?
No, no.
Oh, right.
So did you ever get to fly one for real, or?
The amazing thing is, no, I didn't get to fly an exact one. No, we had a Russian plane that was done up in order that there could be a pilot behind me, but we flew alongside them. There's 2 or 3 of them, you know, 15, 20 feet from each other's wing, so it was as good as, man, it really was. It was nuts.
So what's it like sitting in one of those?
Noisy. It's noisy and it's cramped and it's hot, so they're not as sort of elegant as they look. They certainly, they're more enjoyable from the ground, put it that way, yeah.
One of ours! He's on me! I'm on him.
Do you think the Dunkirk spirit is still alive?
Yeah, I think it is. You know, it's. I certainly hope it is. You know, I think it's a larger term for just a community spirit, and I think, you know, back then there was probably more of a sense of community because, you know, everybody's worlds were smaller in comparison to now, where, you know, social media sort of changed that up, and people have become a little bit more individuals, which is a good and a bad thing. But I certainly think it is, and you see it when there is ever a, you know, a true emergency or disaster. You see people club together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think community is something that is constantly being tested in the world that we now live in. But I'm quite happy to see that. I think there's been a growth in it, like more recently, and I hope it continues. We shall never surrender. We shall never surrender. We shall never surrender.